Level up your life. That is the message from the moon. This full moon we have on August 9th, 2025. It's in Aquarius and it is a culmination point of a story that started back in February of 2024 and that you nurtured and influenced in November of 2024. On this full moon, we're going to see things get pushed over the edge, but instead of falling, they're prone to take flight. Hi, I'm Laura Custo, the moon phase astrologer and your life strategist for rhythmic living. I'm here to help you use the lunar cycles to make sense of the world, to calm down any overwhelm, pressure, or uncertainty of modern life by reconnecting with your own inner timing. Using the rhythm of the moon and the wisdom of astrology, you can move from operating in anxious reactivity to calm, grounded, meaningful action. Now, the absolute best place to start in working with the moon is by following the moon. It's our closest celestial neighbor. It moves the most in the sky, and as a result, it has the most, quote unquote, to say to us. It also governs our emotions. So when you're not feeling great, the moon is nature's gift to you. It gives you the roadmap to finding your peace. So to help you get started, I created a free guide for you, the Moon Phase Compass. You can download that at lauracusto.com/guide and get started on understanding the 4 primary phases of the moon that repeat each and every month. It's very foundational, very simple, and it's a great way to get started. I'll put a link for that at the top of the show notes. All right, let's talk about this Aquarius full moon and how to harness its energy to level up your life. I've got 3 steps for you to keep in mind as the days around this full moon unfold. First, you're going to want to gather your notes on the guideposts from the past that are framing up this story. Full moons, as I mentioned, are culmination points of a story. And these stories build upon the moon phasing through a new moon and a first quarter moon, the first 2 phases of the moon, at the same point in the sky as this full moon, okay? This full moon, August 9th, is just shy of 17 degrees of Aquarius. So when did we last have a new moon near 17 degrees of Aquarius? That was 18 months ago, on February 9th, 2024. And then the last time that we had a first quarter near 17 degrees of Aquarius was 9 months after that, or 9 months ago, right in the middle, right? November 8th, 2024. You'll notice these are all 9 months apart. And that pattern is called the lunar gestation cycle. This is very precise patterning that the moon makes with each and every moon phase. So all the moon phases are interconnected and our stories unfold within them, whether we're aware of it or not. But now that you're here, you're one of the growing number of people who are aware of them, and you can work with it consciously and proactively. It's amazing. So as you look back to those dates, you're going to want to look for some clues. February 9th, 2024, that new moon, did you set new moon intentions? If not, check your calendar, check your emails. What were you dreaming about back then? What were your hopes? What was your inner talk? What were you feeling? Your energy. Your energy matters even more almost than writing down a conscious intention. So tap into that and get a sense for what was going on. Then the next date, November 8th, 2024, that's the first quarter. What action did you take? Did you commit to something then? Something bold. It wouldn't have been something that you did within yourself, making a decision, for example, within yourself to do something. It only counts if you went out into the world and externally did something. So for example, you say you were going to get a new gym membership because you were going to start taking your fitness more seriously. Well, it only counts if you went to the gym and signed up and got a membership. So those are the types of things you want to look for. So again, we're unearthing a story that's unfolding. What themes are you finding between those 2 dates? That'll give you a sense for what could be culminating here at this full moon. It's like working with a garden, right? We plant seeds on the new moon. By the first quarter, we should have a little bit of a sprout, and we're going to water them, and we're going to fertilize them. Okay. And if you're not aware of what's going on, you could very well plant a seed. It could bloom a little bit. And then on the first quarter, you could actually pull it out without even knowing. Okay. So you want to take a look at those things. But here on the full moon, essentially, is when that flower would bloom and you would get the results of your actions. So another clue that you can look for, if you know your chart, is to look to the area of life that Aquarius represents for you. Which of the 12 houses does Aquarius oversee? Is it money? Is it love? Is it career? Okay, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, I have a new course. It's called Moon Map that will teach you how to find this. It is a very simple step-by-step course. And when you find your moon map, it'll show you how to find the area of life that's being supported, not just for this full moon in Aquarius, but for each and every moon phase for the rest of your life. So go ahead on over there and grab it. It is very affordable. It's at lauracusto.com/map, and I will put a link for that at the top of the show notes. Okay, now let's move on to step 2. So after you've gotten your bearings and you have a sense for what may be coming to a culmination point, you want to become aware of the opportunities with this full moon. You're going to want to tap into a little bit of astrology that I'm going to walk you through here. So at this full moon, we have, and I don't want to be dramatic because I am really not like that, but we do have a really rare and crazy setup in the sky. It's called a kite formation. We have 5 planets: Mars, Uranus, Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto, making what is a mostly, I would say, harmonious aspect. And it literally looks like a kite if you look at it on an astrology chart. Now, what's going on is that Saturn and Neptune are together and they are talking to Uranus and Pluto. And they're basically saying, hey, you can bypass old traditional ways of doing things in a calm and responsible way right now. And the conversation that they're having with Mars, and Mars is the planet of action, is, and not only can you do that, but you can bring them into reality. You can take action in a calm, balanced way that won't upset the apple cart. So essentially they're saying, hey, you can make a big, bold, unconventional move right now with very little effort. It's sort of like jump off a cliff, which is very unconventional for most of us. And you're gonna fly, guaranteed. So that's where the level up your life message comes from the full moon. It comes from this configuration in the sky. All right, now step 3, very simple, one word, although it may not be very easy. Step 3 is trust. Trust is important. Trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should, when it should. Now, I do have an astrological reason for bringing this up. The whole configuration, right? This kite that we have in the sky, along with the full moon, it's being blessed, so to speak. Because we have Venus, the ruler of Libra, which is where Mars is right now. That's why it's acting in this very balanced way. Libra is the sign of balance and fairness. But Venus, its ruler, is in Cancer. And Cancer is the sign that is ruled by the moon. And we have a full moon. Okay, not only is Venus in Cancer, but it is right next to Jupiter, which is just, oh my goodness. Venus and Jupiter are the 2, there's only 2, benefics of the zodiac. Okay? They're the planets that bring love, prosperity, beauty, and abundance. And they are together. This only happens once or twice a year. And they are overseeing the power of this configuration on the full moon in the sky. They're blessing and guiding Mars as action is taken. And they're really just sending out positive vibes to all. And so, trust. This configuration is blessed. There is so much goodness going on up there in the sky on this full moon. It's supporting all of us. All of us. All right, now I just want to mention that the full moon also is not a time to force things. It's a time to be present and participate and go with the flow. And this kite formation is all about it. Those 5 planets up there in the sky are making very harmonious and flowing angles with each other. So all it requires is your participation. Again, we're not going to force, but we are going to balance, which means participate. which means you may need to exert some effort. Okay, so strike that balance. Again, let's go back to this whole jumping off of a cliff analogy. You have to make the effort to jump. If you just stand there and think about it all day, don't expect to level up your life. All right, to recap on the 3 steps for this full moon. Number 1, get your bearings. Look back at those dates, the new moon, February 9th, 2024, when you would have set intentions and you would have also wanted to be tapping into how you were feeling back then. First quarter, November 8th, 2024, when you committed, you went out and took some sort of action. Did you nurture dreams along, or did you inadvertently stop them? Okay, those are all clues to what could potentially be blooming on this full moon. Step 2, be aware of those astrological opportunities, right? We have that kite formation. We have all that opportunity energy, the opportunity to do something unconventional, big, and bold with very little effort, but still some effort. And finally, trust. It's being blessed. Again, participate, make some effort. All right, that is a wrap for this week. Thank you so much for being here. I hope this was helpful. And I'm going to end with a question and an invitation for you. What are you noticing on this full moon? What story is coming to a culmination point? And what are you noticing that you can do with very little effort this full moon to level up your life? I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below. And until next week, take care.